history and everything are kind of interesting. It's kind of time.
Yeah, I wonder how those big events are doing this.
Hello, so we are live.
Okay, cool. Okay, then we can start. So again, hello everyone, and thank you for the patience that you have with us and waiting because until we solved some technical difficulties. And so I would like to welcome those who made it into this Zoom call, and then also I would like to say hello to those who are watching us on the YouTube stream. We have Aiwen, Kaisa, and Tommy here with us, and they prepared a screen-based online live action role play called Occupying Screen Space. And this event is departing from the research manifesto Urbanizing the Digital, Call for Actions, which perceives the digital environment as if it's an urban space and explores how we can urbanize and occupy this digital space. And before we start, I would like to just quickly mention that if you are able to document anything from this session in some way or from other sessions of Uroboros Festival, we will be happy if you share it with us. And I will share in the chat a link to the link to shared Google Drive folder, and also some hashtags that we are using. But I will mention the hashtag anyway. It's hashtag Uroboros Festival, hashtag Uroboros 2020, hashtag Docs Prague, hashtag Datamaze. And then we also have a special Uroboros Behind the Screen challenge, where we ask people to take picture of their setup for workshops. So take a picture of your Uroboros station. So for that, we also have a hashtag Uroboros station. And yeah, now I will shortly introduce our event leaders. So I will start with Aiwen. Aiwen is a practicing designer, theorist, and project developer who uses writing, speculative design, and time-based art. Jesus, I hear my. I think I need to the speakers, otherwise this is looping somehow. Sorry. So where was I? Yeah. So Aiwen is using this speculative design and time-based art to examine the social impact of planetary communication technologies. She advocates relationship-focused design as a strategy to redesign and re-engineer and reimagine the relationships between technology and society. And she has been researching urbanizing the digital with the support of the Center of Applied Research for Arts, Design and Technology in Avans University of Applied Sciences since 2020. Then we have here Kaisa, who is a Helsinki-based architect researching the intersections of public spaces and performativity. Kaisa has previously worked in an urban development, from theoretical research to city planning. She also made scenography for theater and exhibition design for museums. And then we here have Tommy, who is a Helsinki-based graphic designer and researcher, and he has written theoretical and fictional texts about near-future design practices and about the visual phenomena that arise between emerging information technologies and ecological thinking. Tommy also lectures and develops web content and has worked in collaboration with performance artists and architects. And now I will stop talking and I will give the stage to you guys. So feel free to open your LARP. I'm looking forward.
Yeah, thank you, Lenka, for the introductions, and thanks for letting us try out something together in this part of this festival.
Aiwen, you are muted and you're trying to speak. I will unmute you. Oh.
Okay.
Okay, now it should work.
Yeah, it should be fine. It seems like we can just skip the intro that Lenka did it for us, so I'm happy for that. Yeah, thank you for everyone who find their way to here. It's a pleasure to meet you. Before we begin, I would like to tell you a little bit about like the context of this workshop. The theoretical context of this workshop, like Lenka said, it traces back to this manifesto I wrote in 2018 called Urbanizing the Digital. It's basically a critique of user-centered design, a very popular method for designing software and website nowadays. This method focus on the main critique of this method is about it focused too much on individual user experience, and from that perspective, it considered everything that the user experience as part of an ongoing day-long workflow. As a result, that we tend to consider all the information we receive, all the exchange and relationship that we have with each other from the system point of view is actually just a part of the workflow. And they got deconstructed into small pieces that can be reassembled into a personal simulation. And that personal simulation, in that personal simulation, we have the illusion that we are very well informed all the time, 24/7. We know what is going on. We are more connected than ever. We can speak to anyone. But then while having that perks, we remain in a safe, isolated space. Whatever happens in the simulation has no real impact on our life. And what does this kind of architecture ultimately would imply to us is that I might be excited, happy, or sad for whatever is projected on the screen, but ultimately I'm not considering what I might have a stake in the situation. But in this theory, I was trying to work with Kaiser and Tommy, and also with many others, about how we can actually imagine an alternative digital space in which we can imagine that we, knowing that all our relationship is intrinsically connected, and then we are actually having a stake in the situation. And that kind of idea is ultimately about what is public. What is public in the digital space. And only being part of the public, being part of the common, we will know that everything we do will be having a ripple effect to the situation at large. But what is happening in this last decade for us is a very important reflection, especially now we are standing in a vantage point of a pandemic. That the pandemic had revealed to us that that we are extremely connected economically, but on the social level, on the connection level, we doesn't seem to be fully understand what it implies. And for me, that actually lays especially in the past 5 months, it has been a very striking experience for me for so many reasons, like so many other people do. But one of the threads that jump out to me is that when is in January, when the pandemic just showing a sign in China, I was there for family, and I see everything start to kick in and happen. But then when I returned to Europe in early February, nothing really changed, and there was no precaution in place. And it's although I get denied access to servers, public transportation, Some people even get afraid of my Asian appearances. But besides that, there's no precaution in place. People talk about the pandemic as if it was a gossip on the other side of the earth. And there's just no idea about a virus is coming. And that put immense stress for the Asian community that I know in Europe. And you're starting to notice there's such a parallel universe coexisting. And this kind of parallel, this kind of isolation as if something is only a simulation and not real life, like give me this kind of weird shuffle between simulation and reality at the same time. And then in March, then what happened is that all the things get coverage again about the virus, about policy, about what it means for social life. It gets a completely replay as if the past 2 months that I have been living was not real. And this again, but then this time in March, people are actually talking about the virus no longer as a simulation, but as real life. It became a reality for people. But then it's such a striking experience for me to know that, like, even though we have all this fast speed internet, we have everything coverage, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we are understanding what is at stake. We are not really. We are still having learned what does globalization mean for our culture and for our everyday life. And then for that, I think that, of course, partly has to do with the digital condition that we are living in, that it is that we always see what is happening on the screen. We're so highly immersed, but we are not immersed. We don't think that what happened to other people's life will happen to us. And the pandemic then teach us that in the light of globalization, only when I can understand your present reality will be the prophecy of my life. That is the only moment that we can understand we are a imagined community of a shared future, of a shared fate. And then that is the only way that I think we can understand, we can work together. We can be having a true solidarity to find out what kind of future that we actually want. So saying all that, and with this workshop is sort of a first step about thinking how we, with the all sorts of design, the digital space that we are embedded in, and especially in this time that we have to inhabit it because we have no other choice, what will be the other way to imagine our relationship that is not confined by this given interface. So that's why we sort of designed this website, a workshop, to begin an imagination, how we can work our way out beyond the interface. Yeah, that's that. Then I will give it to Kaiser and Tommy.
Thank you, Aiwen. And that as a theoretical starting point, with Tommy, we could tell a bit about the method that we are using today, the role play, live action role play, aka LARP, that we use quite often. But this is the first time when we are using live action role play online. So this is also experiment and test for us.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting what also Aiwen was talking about this kind of dynamic relationship between a simulation and kind of a shared event. That for us, role-playing have been a way to kind of be together in the same moment and share a kind of somewhat loose bubble of fictional world within this reality that we live in, and these kind of things that are very important in that are that there's like often there's some kind of structures and there's some kind of events that happen and some kind of a script, but still often the most important things that actually create communities and create some kind of feeling of being together in a struggle or in a quest for looking at something that we've been doing in the LARPs has to do with, you know, like very mundane everyday life things like cooking or sharing an experience of, I don't know, cold shower or something like that. And so it's been kind of interesting challenge for us to think how that kind of experience of sharing something could, or if there's any way that could kind of happen online as well. And we thought that we'd tell a little bit more about role-playing and a little bit about the kind of game mechanics of this LARP that we're going to go through. And then there would be a little bit time to prepare your character. And then we could have about like 30 or 40 minutes of LARPing. I think we have to check a little bit how do we go with time, as we started a little bit later, but
and I want to like add that because we come from the backgrounds of architecture and design, these role plays have been also dealing with the questions that we ask when we are doing our own research. So usually the role plays are happening in the field of architecture and design, but also in that way they are dealing with everyday life, because also architecture and design are related to those. So those are that's the field where so it's not like something like I would say that we don't have like a knowledge of real role playing. We have background in the theater and in performative arts, but we don't know the real role plays so well.
Yeah, so what if we read a little bit like a few things that we thought that role playing could be good for, and then we go on to the kind of specifics of this LARP. Do you want to start, Kaisa?
You can start, and I think if you say something about the role playing at first and about the game mechanics, and then I could go through the timetable for the game. So then we have some kind of, and also please tell us if the connection is poor or you cannot hear us, because this information is really good if you can hear well.
I just noticed, I think we can hear feedback. So when you're speaking, so maybe it's because Tommy is sitting in the next room. So then maybe only one of you should have your mic on.
Okay.
I just thinking that might solve the issue, but let's see.
So we can have turns.
Yes.
You can start.
Okay, so for us, role-playing is always like an experiment, so we're not trying to make a coherent piece of art or any kind of perfect, smooth experience. I think different kind of problems and moments of things not working are really important for us to kind of try to understand what is happening. And we use role-playing as a tool to examine our everyday life and professional practices and the unwritten rules of physical environments and these kind of structures that we use to practice our professions. And we believe that there is a lot of layers, many layers of fiction also behind every practice and behind every theory. And so for us, using theory as a starting point is actually something that can reveal something about the reality that we live in. And we also want to notice that it's quite important to also LARPing often brings up different emotions and uncomfort and perhaps some kind of fragility that is we try to kind of facilitate so that it would be kind of as safe as possible for everyone to try out things and explore those spheres which might feel a little bit uncomfortable. But for that, it's really important that you kind of feel that you're not pushed to do anything that you would not want. So I think we kind of encourage you that there's no right or wrong way of doing this. And also that design and architecture practices and digital and physical environments are never kind of stable, but they're processes that evolve over time, and kind of being aware of the kind of dynamics behind it. It's something that we can kind of also at least observe and make some kind of have a relationship and relation to these platforms that we use and people that we are in connection with. And role-playing is not only about interpreting the world, but also changing it. And so the kind of game mechanics that we're going to use in this LARP are these characters that hopefully everyone got via email. And each character has a different kind of focus point, so they might pay attention to different spheres of space or different kind of spatial scale around them. And the idea is to have our cameras on and our screens black. So if you're using a computer, you can turn the brightness so low that you don't see anything. And so the communication will happen only with sound during the LARP. And we will kind of share this space online that is not based on vision or seeing, but something a bit more kind of hazy or abstract or like less individual, hopefully. And the game itself will kind of emerge from us being together and listening and communicating in this game world that we create together. I think the kind of only thing that is good for you to keep in mind that you, whenever we start playing and when we start setting up our setup and our characters, try to be so that you're in the kind of proximity that you can hear your computer or hear the sounds. And so it is perhaps good to not have headphones or something, but have the sound coming from your computer. Perhaps, I mean, it's also possible if you want to try out using some kind of Bluetooth headphones or something that could work out quite nicely. But that's about it. I think we will signal the starting and ending of the time and go through a little bit more about the setup of the game space in a little bit.
I see that not everyone got the email with character.
No.
It's in the chat.
Maybe it's good to check, because I think I sent everyone who was in the list, but it might be on your spam folder as it comes from this Trojan horse email account.
Yeah, that name asks for it.
If you can double check, then please do so, because I think I sent it like an hour ago or so.
Also, it's possible to send again.
And maybe send again, because it says the mail had no attachment. But also, please feel free to turn on your mic and camera to interact with us, because it's we are here together in one room.
And I think I could go through the parts of the LARP, so that how do we share the time, and I can put the so that there is, if you all can see the chat box in the right, there is the some kind of we usually have 3 parts in LARPs. Is the sound circulating? No, not at all.
I muted Tommy.
Good. That's really good. So we start so that when everybody have their character sheet, it should come via email. So we can start preparing the character. So there is some kind of information in relation to your character, like what kind of character is it, and how does it use space, and how does this character see the public space that we are using. And we have this kind of game that this space that we share here via webcams is some kind of public space that we use, and we are testing how this is working collectively, and is it individual as it seems, or is it something that we can do together. And then when you get the character sheet, you can read it and also reflect a bit, like how would your character be in the space that you are now, and where would the camera be, and where, for example, what kind of clothes would it wear, the character, or if there is other ways that you could somehow pronounce the character a bit more. And for that, we have reserved now like something like 15 or a bit more than 10 minutes. So it doesn't have to be really like heavy thing. And then we can okay, so Tommy is now resending the seats. Okay, so then when we are building up the characters, we can put the cameras off, because then we can use the space as we want. And so it means that we cannot see what's happening in the space. But when you are ready, so you should be ready around 6. So when you're ready, you can put the camera on, but then you can put the brightness of your screen to 0. So it means that your camera is on, but you cannot see what's happening on the screen. And that is because then we can see when you are doing things in your space, but you are not paying attention to the screen. And we are also part of the role play, so don't worry, you are not the only ones. We have also characters. And then Tommy is also making a sound always when the steps are changing. So after role play ends, like past, we can put the brightness on and we can discuss like how did it feel. So the idea is that we are using the space and the screen not in a usual way, but also like occupying it with the physical orientation and paying attention to other things that we usually pay attention to. Was it somehow clear, or would you like to, Tommy or Aiwen, add something? That would be lovely.
I'm good. I think it's clear for me.
So does everyone have the character sheet? Yes.
Okay, so shall we have then about 10 minutes to prepare?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
And Tommy, if you can mute yourself. Thanks. Then when you are ready, when your character is ready, you can put the screen back on and then your brightness down. So then we know that you are in your character and you start doing things. So idea is to communicate via sound that is coming from the screen and also using the space as you would be in a fictional character.
And I will take care of the time now. So you have about 10 minutes and I will then signal or just say when there's 5 minutes and when there's 2 minutes and when we're ready to start. So whenever you have placed your device, your camera to your location that you want to show and your character and everything is ready, just have your start your video so we know that you're ready. And then whenever everyone is ready, we'll start. All right. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes now to prepare. Hello, so now we have about 5 minutes. So about 5 minutes before we start the role play. Okay, so let's have about 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes, something, a short time before we start. Okay, now so whenever you're ready, turn on your video and unmute yourself, so we know that you're ready to start. And also turn the brightness of your screen to 0, so you don't see what's happening. I will do that now myself. And now I have this sound, this little bell, so I will make a sound, and then the role play starts, and then we will do about 30 minutes of LARPing, and I will also signal the end of LARPing by the same sound. So when you hear the bell, you know that the LARP starts, and when you hear it again, you know that it ends, and will turn into debriefing mode. Okay, so
Where are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
I'm here.
Well, what are you doing? What is your name? Hello?
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Teenager.
Are you? You sound like from heaven.
Am I?
Yeah. Where's that echo?
I don't know.
Where are you?
I am in a public space waiting for some friends.
Some fans.
Yes.
Are you a star?
No. Do I have to be a star?
Well, you said you're a fan. You have fans.
Do I need to be a star to have friends?
Ah, you said ah.
Sorry, maybe I said wrong.
No, I feel like I asked a stupid question.
It's
So, who are your friends?
Some teenagers like me. I have one good friend. She's a girl. And I have also another friend.
Is someone sitting down? I feel like someone is sitting down.
I took my friend here. I'm sad you cannot meet.
What did you say?
My friend.
Ah, your friends.
Can you
Or
meet?
not? No. Who are they?
They are nameless. But they can hear you, so you can speak to them.
Does anyone hear my very, very noisy curtain? They sound like bells sometimes.
Inside, I can hear something.
What was your names? What were they?
My name is Rabbit.
Oh.
And yours?
Mine is a butterfly.
So you'll go higher than me.
I know. I know.
What do you see as a butterfly? You know, there's a building in front of me that is only thing you see is just cloud and sky. The building is like transparent. But I just cannot go there. Why are you here?
I just have to be here. It's the only place where I can go to have a little privacy.
Is it a private space for you?
It is for me.
Is it anyone else doesn't have privacy for you?
I like this corner. It's a little bit like having a radio on and just looking at the sky.
You know, I'm just like cuddling my laptop and then just doing some very, very slow motion. I don't know what you will be seeing afterwards.
I just put your voices a bit louder. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure. Or am I having too low of a voice?
No, it's fine. I just love to hear it. Well.
I think maybe it's only becoming us, this place. There's no one else. There's a bird just flying in front of me, passing by.
We are here many.
How many of you?
At least 30.
30. Wow, that's a lot.
More than 20.
Wow. Who are they?
They are many.
They are also many.
Yeah. I don't know them so well, but I try to get to know.
Can you tell me some of them? You know, I'm trying to make you see me.
How?
Exercise.
This is heavy.
Oh.
What is heavy?
What?
What is heavy?
My friend is heavy.
Your friend?
Yes.
What
Do you see the birds I'm trying to show you?
Please. But we cannot show. See, I mean,
Why not?
because my screen is black.
Well, trying to imagine it.
Okay, I try.
There's a lot of pigeons here.
Who was asking about my heaviness?
is nature? I was wondering if I can help you carry something.
Sometimes.
You sound so far away.
But I'm really close. I am always almost on the desktop. Like I mean, I'm always almost like there is only 5 centimeters between me and the camera, I think.
Wow.
Sounds like you're really next to me. You're really present here.
But there's another one. But you know, butterfly. I am actually pressing my chin after the screen. So theoretically, we're very, very close.
That's nice to hear. That's really nice to hear.
Yeah. There's so many birds in front of me. They're just flying.
There was a really heavy wind just a while ago. I'm in this kind of a small cabin kind of place. And I almost couldn't close the door because the wind was so heavy. And now I think it's gone completely. Happened really fast.
I guess if you're living in the nature and if you're a butterfly, then even a breeze will be a very strong wind to you. Is it?
That's right. But there is one thing I didn't tell to you.
What is it?
It was this, like, I'm not only butterfly, but I'm also a butterfly of dust.
Wow. What does it mean?
I don't know.
Butterfly not made of dust?
What?
Are all the butterfly not made of dust?
Are they?
I don't know. I wonder. When I touch one, they have dust. They leave dust on my finger.
That's true. You have touched many butterflies.
I tell you avoid doing that because then they die.
Started cleaning this place a little bit because it's a little bit dirty here.
Is it your responsibility to do so?
Sorry?
Is it your responsibility to do so?
I don't think so. I don't care so much, but I just don't have anything else to do now. Nothing better. I like to be friendly.
You know, I recently starting to watch a lot of, like, not watching, actually more like replaying in my head in the past 2 months, just thinking a lot of things when 20 years ago as a rabbit that I actually shouldn't really exist just yet. And then I was looking at that time, like way back as 90s. I was wondering, how does people at the time will look at the time we're in now? It was like as if they were so looking forward to this time. But I feel like I want that looking forward feeling. Well, not that I'm not looking forward to things now, but it's different.
When do you think that change happened?
What did you say?
When did you think that change happened? When you started realizing that you're not necessarily looking forward to the future?
Well, that's a good question. I guess when it happens, when I feel like the present is too much, it becomes difficult to look forward for more. So, or when things get too, I remember there's a time that kind of enthusiasm was considered too much. That was off the ground. That like that kind of over celebratory feeling. And it was sort of revolutionary when you become practical. You become looking at what is happening now. And I feel like then I forgot what is looking forward. But I guess as a rabbit, that you sort of always look. It as a rabbit, supposed to be always looking at the now. I suppose that's the practical thing to do. But I guess as a butterfly, you would look things more forward. Then you can fly much higher.
Yeah, sometimes, but sometimes I don't feel that. I don't want to do that. And for example, now it's just lovely to rest a bit under the leaves. But just a minute ago, or half a minute ago, you were saying something that was so sensitive that I was wanting to look at into your eyes. So what I was doing, because I couldn't see your eyes, I was looking at the camera, at the light of the camera, and I was thinking that it was your eyes.
But
interesting.
Then I feel really bad then, because I wasn't looking at that at all. I was staring at the sky.
But it's okay.
So I missed that.
But it's okay. But it was not for me.
But do you think connection can happen when it's not connected? When it's not reciprocal? Do you think that can happen? Or is it just about how you feel? Maybe that's too harsh. Sorry.
No, it's good. I just need some time to reflect.
I ask you all a question while you are thinking. I was wondering how you all are doing. Are you all okay?
I'm okay. How about you? I think I'm too okay. I feel guilty that I'm too okay. I know there's many people that are not okay, and I don't know how to show that I'm with them. So I guess on that, I'm not very okay.
And I have the same. I can feel you. I have to share this room. It's kind of hard to. Or I have to be in this room. I'm just in here. But
yeah.
I'm doing really good.
Well, I'm in this room as well. I guess it's a different one than yours. But I don't know, yesterday I was like, I look at the door, I stare at it, and then I thought, when was the last time it got open? And I can't remember. But I seem to be fine. Is it weird that I'm still fine? I mean, I'm more organized than before. I am doing all the things that my parents are trying to get me to do for my entire life. But I don't know. Is that a good thing? You know, the storm seems to be coming here. I want to take you to see the gray sky, even though it's, I don't know if you can see it.
I can feel it.
Can you?
Yes.
The cloud is getting gray.
Mm-hmm.
And the seagulls and the pigeons just went away. How is yours? How is yours, sky? Looks like now.
My sky. My sky. It is cloudy, and there are some blue also. It's quite. It was stormy like a few minutes ago, but now it's super calm. It is changing. Okay.
I don't know. I feel that like it doesn't. I stopped following the weather because it's always so unpredictable. I don't know whether it means that I'm more connected to the weather or not. That like I feel like I always have to respond to it from the morning to the end of the day, and but at the same time also stop, like my closet stopped responding to the climate. So am I more connected to the sky now? There's only one seagull in the sky now.
There's actually a lot of dead flies in here. It's a bit sad. They've been tangled in spider webs. I don't know since when. Maybe already a month.
Should we look for some positivity?
Sure. I mean, what was the kind of feeling you had? I asked for that. Where did that idea come from?
You keep asking me questions as if you're an oracle or something. Can you tell a little bit about yourself?
The thing is that this kind of personal space that I have here is actually not mine. So it is not really my choice. It is
Who are
difficult
you,
to
by the way?
lonely stander.
Wow.
Nice name.
Who is the other person have been quiet? There's someone that was very quiet and very distant. The one that was waiting their friend. Who are you?
I'm trying to find a place where I feel comfortable.
Are you at a comfortable place now?
Sorry?
Are you in a comfortable place now?
Yes. I'm lying down.
That sounds good.
Really nice.
What do you see right now as you're laying down?
I'm seeing the sky also.
Wow. Are you laying down outside?
Sorry?
Are you laying down and outside? Not indoor.
No, yes, I am indoor, but there's a window nearby, so I can see the sky from here. But it's pixelated because there's like a glass with pixel on it.
That sounds cozy.
I like to look at it in the nights when there's the moon.
Wow. That's what were you thinking when you're looking at it? Are you feeling positivity?
I wonder what's this huge white light, and then I figured out that's the moon. Because of the square, I can't recognize it.
Is it off?
Yes.
Okay.
So-
I just
so
burned
about
it.
30
I just burned a flower.
So about 30 minutes went, and now it would be a time you can turn the brightness on, and we can talk a little bit about what happened.
What has happened? That's a great question. I don't know if I captured that burning moment. I just burned a flower.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. How are you feeling?
I was afraid of not doing that right because I didn't really read the description before joining the event. And I know very little about role playing, so it feels a bit awkward in the beginning. And I really I felt that some moments were very poetic. I felt very uncertain about was I playing the role right, and also to some extent sometimes just letting it go. I really like the poetry of the moment. It feels also very hard to know when I have to be passive or when I have to be active.
Agree. Agree, definitely. But it was like quite lovely to also when I was like, because I knew that there's camera, but I couldn't see you, so it was kind of nice connection because you somehow just I felt empathy towards you, like somehow watching this. So I was like somehow like showing things like as it would be eyes. So it was also funny how somehow there is no like you don't see the camera, but you think about that those are something that the frames the situation that you're doing.
I have to say it was very interesting to look at because I was spying on you.
Yeah.
And it was very poetic, strange video sequence or interaction or how to call it.
Yeah.
And I have a question, like, would you say that you felt during this role play that you are being observed by the internet?
Of course, in a way. But I was thinking like Aiwen and like our characters mainly, like as observers. But I was like, yeah.
I think it was quite interesting because, oh, sorry, yeah, go on.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, I agree that so I personally like set up my computer in front of a mirror because it felt like my role was the one of the teenager, and so to me I have to have this weird relationship to my reflection, and also what I do during the session was to walk around this mirror because sometimes you want to be very, I felt like teenager wants to be very seen sometimes, and sometimes they want to be pretty hidden. So I was trying to do this. So I was more focused on my action and how it would be appearing. And then to the end, it was more like being passive because I was also thinking about some of my teenager relationships that are always hiding, kind of. So then I was like, okay, let's now disappear and just listen also to what the other people are saying.
I think it was really, that time went really fast, and it was interesting actually. These moments when it was not, I was perhaps expecting it to be much more silent than what it was.
I have to say that because I get the character that like saying constantly want to report to other people what's going on, and then it gets super stressful. And then when it's getting very quiet, I feel like, oh, my character kicks in now, like because I feel like my character should not stand for silence, and then I just keep on trying to make things happening. But it's also really weird because I feel like it was like people are listening, and so like Lenka, you said like whether you're observed or not. I feel like it's a really weird thing because it's on one hand I know that I'm contributing, giving content, but that relationship is a little bit different because like, of course, on one hand, I know that I'm being recorded, but also on the other hand, yeah, I don't feel like being spied on. It's a strange relationship. I think usually when we're in this kind of like conference mode, there's constant self-censorship. Like, I especially hate those moments sometimes when people share their screen and then I'll see my face on, and it was like a double self-censorship. But then with this one, I don't feel that way. It's I don't know how to describe that as a weird thing. Like, I feel more connected, but at the same time, I don't know whether it's more connected, it's connected in a different way, but I somehow don't feel that stressed about it. Yeah.
But from my point of view, it definitely looked like you were connecting on some different channel that was that I was not in, and like the dialogue that you had, it really looked or felt as if you were able to find some new connection through the internet. Although it was going through the same Zoom room, but it felt like something different and something more intimate, even.
Yeah, and this.
I was actually constantly paying attention to Marion, like, even though she doesn't really make any sound for a long time. I was constantly thinking about like, oh, how is she feeling right now? Yeah, that person was like really so far away. At first, I thought like, oh, I thought she said that. I think you were saying that you're waiting for friends, and then I heard there was like waiting for fans, and that's why I asked you about the star. And then after that, it was like went off a little bit. And then I was like keep on wondering, oh, what's going on with that star? It was it's a strange thing. Even though I actually talked to Kaiser the most, I think. But I was actually constantly thinking about Marion.
Yeah, me too. And because also that also you, when we have been thinking like how to do this a bit before, so it's also something that creating safety space for you is something that feels really important, and there is this meta thinking about that. And but also I don't know how is it, because I was trusting, so like I trusted so well that you were listening all the time. So it was at the same time I didn't have to stare at the screen. So it was really relaxing. And at the same time, I felt that you were taking care of me in a way, because I knew that you were listening, but also I didn't have to stare at my own face. So it was actually a really nice combination.
Yeah, I really appreciate also being fully focused on the content rather than looking at other people's faces or my faces. I know, for instance, that when I am in a call or something, I'm constantly doing like here and there, looking back at my face and making sure everything is all right. And this pressure was constant, like totally out of this moment. And it feels like really being with you guys, just having this very specific time out of the normal space, kind of.
Yeah. But for me, was really interesting was that kind of, although we kind of knew how many people there were in the beginning, I still kind of did not know how many people there are. Like, I mean, even if it's silent, there could be like, maybe it was because my own character was also kind of not supposed to be so active and talkative. So I had this, idea that there could be more, like there could be people who are not just saying anything, and that would be also okay. So there's this kind of feeling that you don't know who is listening, but that was quite kind of nice. So I didn't feel that pressure to kind of entertain or keep up something, which was cool. And at the same time,
It sounds like you're describing like the internet, like before it became universal. Like we go online and then write about our feelings and wanting to be understood and accepted, but at the same time also expecting some sort of privacy and protection. Like when it was like internet is not like the public channel, it was still some sort of other wordy space. And yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm so curious, like Lenka, you have been like spying on every session.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're like the space operator, like yourself saying like you already said that it's like very interesting to watch. Like I wonder, like, does that shift your focus as well during this time? Like, what are you actually looking at? Like, is this one like shift your focus, or what are you looking at? You like comparing to this one to another one?
Yeah, it felt as if I was watching really like an artistic movie in a way, but at the same time, I had a feeling that you were like people who got lost in a forest in the darkness, and you don't know each other, and you're kind of all finding your way through this dark space, and only what you have is your voice, so you can communicate with each other. But I like the parallel with the internet, because actually this dark space was the internet, not the forest. But at the same time, you were talking about stuff like sky and stars, but then there was this computer showing a room with a little bit of you. So yeah, it's hard to explain how it felt, like that there is this freedom or open space somewhere, but it's not accessible to me as an observer.
So you feel excluded?
Sorry?
Are you excluded? Do you feel like
Yeah,
you're
I felt,
excluded?
of course, excluded.
Wow. Interesting, because like you're the only one that actually have access to all the.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw, that's the paradox, because I saw the most. I saw the whole collage together, and yet I felt I'm missing what's going on. That's I think quite interesting on this.
I have a question maybe related to that. Did the participants felt like they wanted to turn on their brightness on the screen during the game, or did everybody like fully comply with it?
I felt that it was really lovely when the brightness was 0. Once during the role play, I checked the chat if there is someone lost, because there were moments when only me and Aiwen were talking. So I was thinking someone had been in the forest like too long, but except that, it was really lovely, I think, not to see your face.
Yeah, I have the same moment when my sort of like hosting mentality kicks in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the administrative mentality comes in, and it's like, wait, it's technically okay, and especially when Kaiser said something like, I need to turn up the volume, and then I was like, should I check something? And yeah, that was like the character breaking moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also like because it was forced into this supposed to be a rabbit. But then of course I blend into many sort of like personal characters. So in a way that it's also having this weird moment of like, should I completely being a rabbit or should I just say things? I don't know. It's a weird experiment.
Yeah.
But I think it might be an interesting like experience for people in the like in these times and maybe in the future, like that people will seek this kind of experience because it's probably very refreshing from what we are experiencing every day, especially now when we are all video conferencing the whole day, right?
Yeah.
And this at least from my position, it looked very like this kind of new experience that people might try to search for as a form of recreation or
Yeah.
It felt like I was constantly trying to fetch the other people's reality and also making hypotheses whether we were aligned on the fictional place that we were like having in mind or not. Like I was always wondering, like, am I in the same space? Are they describing what is around them, or are we all like projecting things, in our minds? And like I was not in my home, in my current like setting of lockdown.
Yeah, I was also kind of wondering as well. Also because at the beginning I misheard what you said, and that was like definitely that moment was like, wow, this person get into the character really fast. Yeah, it was a funny thing. So like that's actually why I was keep on wondering like, oh, why does that star doesn't talk anymore? Like, or is it like really like the star? Is it really the star, or like the star in the sky? Or that's why it's quiet.
Yeah, but I also felt after playing, like when this ended, that like it was super short time, half an hour more, and so that it already somehow started. And usually when you role play like for 2 days, there is moments when you feel like really awful. And when this like your own character and your fictional character, they are really heavily mixing, so that it's burden to somehow carry the character with you. So it's something that would be also interesting to test.
Yeah.
This kind of mechanism.
Yeah. I can't imagine if this lasts for 2 days. That I mean, at the end, I already feel a little bit trippy. Actually, I was so disappointed. I was like, I want to burn the whole bowls of rose that I had with my hand, but it's just starting and finished. But I guess that's also a good ending.
So I'm curious, what's your plan for the future with this? Are you going to try another digital online screen-based LARP?
I think we can definitely improve a lot. Like it's a fun experiment.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it will be great. Like we can get some sort of like more regular edition maybe.
Yeah, I think so too. And it was definitely refreshing. I had a good moment when I realized that I could just it was also kind of related to my character that I had that I could just start cleaning this place where I am, and then I could do that while listening to everyone, and I just it was kind of fresh because it's not. I mean, when we were having this kind of calls, no one is kind of forcing you to sit and stare at the screen. I mean, I'm also having the screen black right now, which is actually really nice. I didn't notice that before, but it's really nice to look at the sky rather than stare at the screen all the time. And I don't think I miss so much.
I think I will try it in the next session.
when you don't have the responsibility, I think you're gonna stay in your pilot position for a bit until the end of the day.
Yeah, there are still 2 more days to experiment, so
Yeah.
I will find a time for that.
Yeah.
And yeah, but thank you for this, for bringing up this experiment. It's really.
Thank you for giving the space for us. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's a pity we didn't have more players, but maybe next time if you organize something, then people can maybe find you somewhere online in the digital space that you're urbanizing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for giving us this space for experiment. It was really nice.
Yeah, that's exactly what this festival tries to do and to achieve, to give the space. And yeah, I'm very happy for you joining.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Marian, to stay until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Thank you so much.
It was very cool experiment, very relaxing. Thank you for organizing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay. Hope to see you in another corner of the internet.
Hope so.
Yes. And let's play again sometime.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And cool. Ciao.
I think I will say bye and slowly
Bye-bye.
this off because we have other sessions.
Mm-hmm.